Hello, I'm Nisa Kesseler, the Teen Services Librarian at the Petoskey District Library, and I'm here to talk to you about my favorite YA fiction of 2020. So, with no further ado, we will start with Heroin by Mindy McGinnis. Mindy McGinnis is just a fantastic writer. This book is no exception. It is the winner of the Michigan Thumbs Up Award, which is the award that the Michigan Library Association gives for outstanding young adult books, and this was the winner this year. It is a fascinating and harrowing and at times frightening look at the opioid crisis here in the United States, and it's through the eyes of Mickey. Mickey is a young girl who plays softball, is a star of her softball team. She's college bound, and all of this is interrupted by a car accident. And the car accident causes her injuries that are severe enough that she has to have surgery. And when she is recovering from the surgery, they prescribe her OxyContin. And she becomes addicted to the OxyContin. When she runs out of the prescription, she finds other ways to feed this addiction. And it takes you through all of these behaviors that she engages in to support her addiction. The lying, the stealing, just turning her back on the things that were very, very important to her, and trying to live a double life, which gets harder and harder for her to do. It opens with a very, very harrowing scene, and it's sort of a prequel. It's the prologue, and that scene actually occurs again towards the end of the book. So not really spoiling much there. This book does have a trigger warning, has very, very realistic depictions of drug use. So the trigger warning is for addicts and recovering addicts. So if you really want to dig deep into the opioid crisis and read a book that handles the topic with compassion and care and realism, this is a fantastic book to read. Heroin, Mindy McGinnis. The next book I want to talk about is Dear Justice. This is by Nick Stone. Nick Stone is one of my absolute favorite writers. I love Nick Stone. This book is a companion to her first book, which was Dear Martin. In Dear Martin, we meet Justice McAllister, who has worked very hard and is on his way to the Ivy League, has some things happen and has to deal with, racism, surprise, in our society, right? Dear Justice is a companion to this. In this book, we get to know Quan, who we first meet in Dear Martin. And Quan is in jail. And while he's in jail, he is taken to writing letters to his friend Justice. And the book, it really goes in depth into Quan's life, his home life, the things that have happened that have put him on the path that has led him to jail. The fact that there really in his life have not been very good choices that he's had available to him in order to escape the situation that he was in. He lives in a household that has violence in it. There's domestic violence. He tries to get away from that, ends up in a gang, but this gang has always taken care of him, has always given him a sense of belonging. So he ends up being accused of a crime he didn't commit. And now he's languishing in jail waiting for his trial. So basically, in addition to being an interesting story about this young man, Quan, it's also a deep look at the criminal justice system and the many ways that it fails young Black people, especially young Black boys and young men, due to discrimination and practices that are steeped in racism and systemic racism. So I would highly, highly recommend Dear Justice. It's an excellent book. Nick Stone did it again. Dear Justice. And finally, this is I would say my favorite book that came out this year. I really enjoy fantasy and alternate realities. So, Elazoe by Darcy Little Badger is all of that. It's fantasy mixed with mystery, and it's fantastic. So it's an alternate version of our world where things like ghosts and vampires and fairies and magic and monsters are all real and everybody knows it. Okay. So it's not a secret. Like these few people know, everybody knows that stuff is real. That's what this world is. And Elazoe is called, she goes by Ellie. She's a 17-year-old Lipan Apache girl who has the power of what they call ghost calling, meaning that she can call the ghosts of animals. And she has a faithful companion that is one of these ghosts named Kirby. He's a dog and very loyal, very sweet. Elazoe is also asexual, which is a fact that is respected and honored throughout the book, and it's not treated like something that she'll grow out of, or when she's more mature, she'll understand. It's not treated like that at all. It's treated with respect. So yay, Darcy Little Badger. And the story kicks off when her cousin is murdered, and she wants to figure out who did it. And so she and her family end up going to this small town in Texas where she's determined to get to the truth and find justice for her cousin. They tried to make it look like an accident, but she knows better. So if you really like fantasy with a little detective mystery going on, I highly recommend Elazoe. Very, very good book, and definitely my favorite book of 2020. All right, so here we go. We got Heroin, Mindy McGinnis, Dear Justice, Nick Stone, and Elazoe by Darcy Little Badger. All of these are available at the Petoskey District Library, so come and get it. And I will see you again soon, talking more about books. See ya.